Hello everybody, welcome back to our drawing sessions. I have a little tiny golden retriever puppy that's asleep at my feet and I'm really hoping that she's not going to wake up. Right, let's get drawing. So apologies if there's any noise. Right, we're going to start here. So my piece of paper, pencil, we're going to start. I'm doing it, you do a nice light line. I'm going to do a bit darker. So we're coming kind of here in the paper. So we've got this distance because we need to fit everything in. So we'll line up the back, slight angle, and slight angle. So as I've said before, we generally don't do curves. We kind of build the curve up from a kind of selection of lines like that. We're then going to come over from this side and I'm going to do very lightly, this is a very light line for you, kind of that shape. And then we're coming a tiny bit over, and this is me using the bits on the picture to work out how far we're coming over, like that. So we're that way, line that way, diagonal, comes back in a point, and that comes round here, and I'm looking at that distance from there to there. That might be too angled there. I'm going to rub that out. Just let me know if you can. Does anyone use pens or is everyone using pencils and rubbers? Because sometimes we do make mistakes and we have to correct them. Right, so I'm hoping you have all those lines. I will give you a second. They're quite complicated. Now when we're coming here, we're coming up that way there, and then here we're coming, we've got that line there, so look at that, I think it's just over about a centimetre, and then we're coming down this way. Now I'm not sure how far we're going yet, we're going to work that out, but we have this kind of shape. Now we're coming back to this line here, we're coming across, we've then got a shape we're going to put in first, so that's coming kind of curved-ish down to this point. And then we're going kind of down here, and like that. That's a zigzag in this picture. You definitely don't know what that is yet. I like that it's always a guessing game. Right, this line is then going to curve over here. And then we're coming up to this point and we're coming down a little bit. I'm going to do a little line there. Now we're going to come back to here. So on this line here that went up, we're coming over a little bit and we're coming up above this line. That's really important, that we're coming up to about there. Now we'll double check this point in a minute. We're going to do it like a jigsaw puzzle. So this line here, we're going to do what I call a working line. So from this point, I'm looking at basically how this section relates to my next section, but it's not actually joined. So we have this bit in between, there is a white bit, there is a grey bit here, and then it's a little bit lower than this section. So I'm all the time, I'm looking at how the different parts are relevant of what it is that we're drawing, how they are all interlock with each other. So then, when I'm happy that's in the right place, we're going to do, it's kind of a curve with a line down to that point, and then it curves back that point. So let me just go through. If I drew a straight line across there, we're coming down a little bit. So we're finding this little puzzle piece where its place is. We're then going to do a curve on this side, like that. And then we're going to do a line underneath, like that. Just give you a moment. Now from this side we're going to do a little line that way, and that kind of attaches to that line we'd already put in. We could make a little bit more shape on there. Now we have this part of the puzzle in. If we go directly up to that and do a little dot, we're going to have a little line that comes there. And then if we come to, I'm just trying to work it out, see this side bit here and this line. If we come on there and we go up, just going to do a little line up there, because that's telling us where, so this is our starting point, that's telling us our end point. And someone's having a dream. So this line comes up. So it curves round. Now again, I'm not sure where this, how tall this is yet, so we're going to work it out like a jigsaw puzzle. So we've got a little bit that comes like that, there. Then it comes back, and we're going to, instead of doing an outline, we're going to do some lines like that. And then we have an angle, so it's kind of over this way. So move my arm round. Just kind of like that. I'm sorry if you can hear huffing and puffing and doggies dreaming. The joys of working from home. Right, so there, I'm just going to rub that out. And I'm just looking, I think that's a good kind of height. You could always double check it, so let's have a look. So it's about that much. But it doesn't need to be exact. If we were doing a portrait, we would. But... And we've got some lines here that come like that. Do you know what it is yet? It actually looks a bit like a cat looking that way, doesn't it? See the eyes and the nose, but it's not. Okay, now let's move on to the next bit. Hopefully you've got that all in. Maybe that's a little bit harsh. Now, little lines, tiny gap here, and then we're coming out. So you've got a V shape here, here, and practically the same height, maybe a little bit taller. And also we don't just want a straight line, it's an organic shape. So we're going to kind of pull it that way and perhaps in and up there. I can't stop saying the cat now. Looks like a cat. Just put a mouth on. Right, we're coming down this way. And then we are actually a bit more of a curve. So it's that way, till we get in line with here. So kind of like that. So we're coming up to about here, not as wide as this shape. And that comes that way. And we're going to use the little head. I'm leaving the pencil on. And then I'm going to put it in darker here, around to there. Like that. Now we're coming back to this shape. We're leaving a gap. We're going to do a few little lines, which will be hairs, if you know what it is yet. And then in between this space, so it starts on this line, it's closer to this right hand side than the left, but we have got a gap, so it's kind of, if we put in some points, it's that far and that far, so it's over this, more over this side slightly. And then we're coming. Now, where is it coming up to? So it's not as high as this. It's probably about there. So we can give ourselves, and it's a triangle shape as you can see. And I'm going to do little lines close together instead of an outline. And this nice V shape. Like that. We then have a curve, little curve shape about there. Sorry, I'm laughing because the puppy's making weird noises. Here, like that. Then another one there. Then we've got, from this, we're coming down, and we've got a curve shape. So you can go doing little lines like that. Now we're coming round, like a little light line here, and I'm just working out kind of about halfway, I think. So we're kind of here. I've worked out where we are down. I'm now going to work out where we are this way. So we're in line, sorry, I've moved, in line with this. And we have a V shape, but the other way. Like that. And then a line down. Like that. So you should probably know what it is now. we could have drawn this section first and done that bit. The reason I did that is generally lots of people make this too big. So I thought we would use the lines to build over. So we're dark shape there, dark shape there. That's coming round. And we're in a curve. I'm really sorry, but the smallest dog is snoring. It's only 10 weeks. Coming round there. Maisie. And across here. My other dog is now digging a bed. Come on, good girl. Never work with children and animals, doesn't it? Right, so from this side, so we've got this little curve in here. Now on this side we're going to do some little dots here and little lines here. I was hoping with this one it was a bit simpler that we weren't rushing the shading bit, because we kind of spent lots of time doing the drawing and then not the shading bit, so I was hoping this was simple enough that we could spend a little bit more time. We've got 10 minutes left, so that's good. So we're coming from this angle down here, and then this again, this is not a hard crisp edge, this is fluffy hair, so we're just going to hint it a little bit. We don't always want to rely on outlines like this. This is all actually white and fluffy. So we'll go back and soften that hopefully in a minute. Okay, so he hasn't got another eye. There's all there is there's a little dark kind of hair shape there, and there's some whiskers. Now this is where I use my wrist, whether I'm using paint or a knife flick, and leaving a gap in between, so that way and then that way. This often produces better whiskers than a really thick hard line. A lot of these are white, but we have, because we've got a white background, but we'll just put them in. Right, down here we are, let's finish this line. So this comes round here. I'm leaving my pencil on. Comes up, down to a point here, and then round, like that. And then there's a leaf or something here, so we will just bring this down a little bit. I think, if you've got a pen, don't worry about it. Pencil, just rub that up, bring that down. Okay, let me zoom in the eye a second. Right, let's get some details. So there is a curved triangle in that corner, and there's a little one there, so I draw them in and then we are going to shade around. So we're going to leave those white like that. He's alive now. A little bit of a highlight in the eye because it just makes him look a bit real. We're going to come back to this ear. We're going to leave our pencil on the paper, and we're doing little lines, then some longer lines. So little lines, leaving white gaps. You don't need to fill everything in. We have some here. This is that contour where we're using them to show the direction of the hair or the head. and rub out any little working lines you've got that you don't want. Now this bit up here, so I'm focusing on anything that's really dark at the moment. It's a lot easier. So this is really dark here. Got some little lines coming out to show the hair. Dark here. Now here is mainly kind of mid, so I'm not going to press as hard. I don't want to do really long hairs because it's kind of shorter hairs. So we can build that up with little zigzaggy, kind of changing the direction of the hair. And then we can put a little bit of darker detail in, some edges, some hair along the edges so it doesn't look too neat. Now we have some longer lines here, so we have some longer darker ones there. Give you a minute. So longer darker ones there, there's a few kind of mid dark there. Now there's a light bit here, so this bit I'm going to shade there. Now this edge here is really light, so we are going to press really lightly so that we get a dark, a mid-dark and a kind of lighter. Actually we'll leave that bit white. Leave this bit a bit whiter. Few lines. Simplifying because of our time. Yeah, does that look like a hairy ear? Now on the other one we're actually really dark in this corner. And dark here. Do you know, it's amazing how quickly half an hour goes. And dark here. Now we're going to do some more of this kind of, so I'm not pressing as hard, so, and I'm changing my direction so it's little hairs, short distance. Some darker bits, pressing a bit harder, but this isn't light, this ear. There's some light bits on the edge that we won't be able to see because we're on white paper, but it's grey and then with some darker grey bits. So we just use the pencil marks to show this. Then we're coming down this side, there's some hairs that go off this direction. This direction. Now again, we are this light shade, okay? We don't have to fill it all in, but we want to show that this is grey. There's some white bits here, we're going to leave those bits. So you're basically playing a game of spot the difference inside. Some of this is light in terms of tone. This is darker around here. This is darker here. And around here. I'm just going to keep going and then I'll give you a minute to catch up. Then around here. And here. Okay. That's looking cute. Okay, so I've gone light grey here, leaving bits of white. It's so important. I did a watercolour lesson yesterday. It's so important to leave bits, not fill everything in my mind. Right, these kind of longer scruffy bits come around here. we have a lighter shaded bit here. Now we have a really dark bit on this nose. Fill it in. Little white gaps here. Thinking about the direction, so these are going up. Shaded here. Now, as we come around here, these bits are light. I'm going in the curve of the direction of the face. There. A little bit of shading here. This is all a bit darker under here, especially as we touch the mouth because the light can't get in there. And here, in this my pencil, point here, make this a little bit more prominent. Some little bits of darker lines. Now we're going to shade lightly. Well, it's really hard when you just pull your pencil out. Again, direction, length of hair I'm thinking of. Little darker lines. Darker under here. Okay, so we have a little face. That's a few more whiskers there and there. Now, under here there's a little darker bit here. We're going to put, okay, sorry, just my timer, because the time goes so quickly. Now, what should we do here? We've got a couple more minutes. We will keep the pencil on. You see long lines like grass going in different directions. Don't do it neat that it's all going up. It'll look like it's combed. Then we'll do some seed heads. I love wiggly seed heads. And one up here. And all I'm doing is little curly swirls for that. And leaving gaps in between, can you see? So maybe a bit more grass. So leave my pencil on. You can do a little bit darker if you want. Set him down. Right, really quickly, and I'm sorry if we've gone over, you can go on the video and watch catch up, but I really want to get a little bit on the body. So I'm leaving my pencil on. I am moving in the direction of the hair. Very quickly, doesn't need to spend a lot of time on that. Now this is shadowed here, see that shape we drew? Shadow, 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 direction of the hair, longer hair than on the face. Now this bit's light, this bit's shadowed, this bit's light. So what we can do is just break that line up a bit if you've used a pencil. And let's come. So I'm thinking about my direction of the hair. So they're sticking out. Then they start going down nice and light. This bit back here is dark. I think because half an hour is not very long, I always really try, that's why I set the alarm, to get it done in half an hour. But right, pull that. What does that look like? Does that look lovely? Maybe a bit darker around here. I now have no clue what the time is. So I hope you enjoyed that. Remember, if there's anything in particular else you want to draw, let me know. Very open to suggestions. Perhaps a few more whiskers. What do you think? A little bit darker under here, in between. See this V here? And then we must stop. And we have a half-an-hour bunny rabbit, which is amazing to be able to draw something that quickly. Nice little sketch. Okay, stop fiddling away. Well, I hope you enjoyed that and learnt lots. It's all about practice. It's all about keep going, trying, you get better and better. The more that you do this, the more that I explain how the shapes all go together and the shading. And you'll get better and better. So I hope you enjoyed it and I will speak to you soon. Thank you, bye.